The human being has any number of mimic topics, for example. Exactly. The human being has key facets that God knows. Exactly. The issue is if someone can possess the body. Exactly. Person say, no, don't use the word possession. Now we're going to go into irrational. No. Why don't we say what the Lord showed us in the bad video? If someone gets a hold of the vessel. Exactly. A vessel must be more dangerous based on what it knows, though. Exactly. In that sense, we saw that with Michael Jackson. Exactly. It knows the topics. Exactly. But the danger with Michael Jackson is something very specific. Exactly. In that sense, it's obvious that the human being has any number of mimic topics. For example, this is a world that God knows. Exactly. In that sense, we know Islam is the right religion. Exactly. It can't be any other religion at this point. If you want to talk about this topic further in a different context or a de-elevated way, based on what we know, go to my blog. It's called the Muslim blog. We can do that. We're permitted. Sometimes we want to talk about things in a medium or de-elevated way. I do that in the Muslim blog. In that sense, though, when we are looking at any subject, it has to do with a world that God knows. God is concerned with someone getting a hold of a vessel. When we look at Satan, exactly, we refer to it, Satan is a being that can possess the body. Exactly. When we say possession, though, the person thinks about those topics. The issue is the person is used as a vessel by Satan. Exactly. How does the individual protect itself, though? Through morals. Exactly. It's based on things God knows. It's based on a math that God knows. Exactly. When a person is in any kind of context, the right way to talk about the topic is the way God taught us about the topic. Do not make it something strange. Exactly. Allah is an all-powerful being. Exactly. He knows all these principles. Exactly. He is teaching it to us for any number of reasons. Exactly. In that sense, the controlling principle is if a being is all-powerful, it must be feminine. In that sense, when we look at Satan has access to the human being's bloodstream. Exactly. Let's not make a huge deal of this topic. If a person wants to go into an occult subject, they can do that, but I'm not going to spend too much time on that. In that sense, there are ways for people to learn about the topic in an appropriate way. There's inappropriate and cartoonish ways to talk about this topic, not for chance, though, not for any number of reasons that we don't care about, though, for the same topic. All we care about, though, is Satan is a being that can possess the body. Exactly. How do we know? Part of the issue is that. When we were in this context, part of the war between good and evil is that. Exactly. But it's an intrinsic situation. Exactly. God is intrinsically good. Exactly. What we are seeing is that. In that sense, the evil is an individual that tries to make this topic something strange. Exactly. That person, exactly. In that sense, when we are rational and straightforward, we can understand the topic. A human being is a powerful being. Exactly. It's obviously in a state of control, but don't make a big deal about that. The issue is, in terms of what God is teaching us, what happens if a being is inhabited. Exactly. In that sense, though, no one needs to fear. God is all-powerful. Exactly. Part of the context is that. When a person is doing anything in particular, God said, defend yourselves through morals. Exactly. When persons had a very specific agenda, it was against very specific topics. Exactly. That is what the context is, though. What God said is defend yourselves through morals. No one can control the human being. Control is beside the point. Exactly. The issue is inhabitation. Exactly. In that sense, who cares about that? When a person is in any kind of context, a person protects themselves from very key principles. God is omnipresent, though. When we were in this type of test, the issue is whether a person can understand that a vessel can get a hold of. Someone can get a hold of a vessel. Exactly. In that sense, when we look at any topic, what we can see about the human being is it can do specific things by God's permission. In one of my videos, what we saw is the avatar body, for example. Where is that very obvious? Since we're in a context of Judgment Day, these things are being visually represented in a way they never were before. When we look at Olympic swimming, exactly, we can see the avatar body plainly there, exactly. When a person sees it, it's undeniable. Let's not play the denial. Exactly. Persons watch Olympic swimming, they can see the avatar body plainly. When a person is in any kind of context, though, the key to everything was simply to rely on God. But what does that mean? Persons can never be controlled by any being. That is where we talk about the error of the human being. The human being's capacity to err. Exactly. It's a very dangerous topic, though. Nothing is outside of God's purview. There's no need to be frightened. Exactly. Now we understand things. So what? Exactly. God is all-powerful over everything. Exactly. In that sense, when beings are talking about very key and specific topics, it makes no sense otherwise. Exactly. It is not to the human's interest to hate religion. It makes no sense. It's the reason for their creation. Exactly. No being hates religion. Exactly. There must be something else going on. Exactly. When a human being thinks about its creator, exactly, there has to be something else going on. In that sense, when we look at any particular topic, we know Islam is the right religion. Exactly. When we were seeing anything in particular, though, God was showing us very particular things. When we talk about the body, we must understand that it's sacred for the reason of our Creator. Exactly. How do we know the type of Creator that we have if we can have an unholy discussion for the sake of it? Well, we know it's a very powerful and thoughtful He. Exactly. Why? If the being was nervous, our natural state would have our arms flailing. Exactly. When God is teaching us about this topic, it's not because He's concerned about anything. No, it's principles that He's teaching us. Exactly. How do we know if the being is a nervous being? Its creation in terms of its natural state would be going like this. In that sense, person can say, that looks cartoonish. No. Okay? These are based on the real world topics that God knows. When a being is inhabited, no. How do we first know what the being is? Exactly. Our Creator is obvious. Human being is quiet. Exactly. When we see the human being, its natural state. Now, when we talk to a perverse person, do not get bogged down in perverse discussion. Exactly. It is a powerful being. It is a quiet being. Exactly. Its natural state is not to have its arms going at once and every which way all the time. Something's natural state can be that. Exactly. Why? Because if it's a nervous being, exactly, it may be something like that. Exactly. Our Creator is obviously very calm and rational. Exactly. Because that is the human being's natural state. Exactly. When a person is doing anything, obviously God is in utter control of everything. The issue is the seriousness of the subject. Exactly. The concern is what happens if the vessel is gotten a hold of. Exactly. In that sense, in the next video, we will talk about some other topics. But there's no need to fear. Exactly. When a person understands these topics, they understand that God is all-powerful. In the next video, we will talk about these topics.